Welcome to Romans, God's Solution to Our Problem, a devotional series by Sumo Youth. Make sure you've got a pen and your copy of Romans with you, and if you haven't already, pause the video and pray that Jesus speaks to you through His Word today.
Hey guys, welcome to day number 15. We're looking at Romans chapter 7 today, and I thought I'd just bring you along for a day of college with me and show you Anglican Youth Works down in Sydney. The college, this is where Year 13ers go. This is where other people come to study the Bible. If I spin around up there behind me, you can see off in the distance, that's where some of the college buildings are. And down here, tucked away in this nice little bit of bush, is a beautiful chapel where the different students who are down here come every week to spend some time in God's Word together, sing some songs praising God and study His Word. So pretty fitting place, I thought, for us to come along and do day 15 together. So guys, we're looking at the end of chapter 7 today, the end of Romans chapter 7. And as you have a read of it, I think you'll find that Paul picks up on a tension which some of you guys might have been feeling as you read through chapter 6 and into chapter 7. A tension to do with what it's like living for Jesus, but at the same time not yet being completely fixed by what Jesus has done. This tension which is within us of having been saved and united with Christ, but at the same time living in this world. As you read through this passage, here's a couple of questions we want you to answer, and we'll have a chat about the answers in a minute. Here are the questions. If the law itself is not our enemy, then what is our enemy? What's the true enemy? Secondly, what is the tension that Paul feels? What is the tension that Paul feels in his life? And the third question is, I want you to think about in what ways do you feel that same tension in your own life and in your own walk with Jesus? Have a read at the end of Romans chapter 7, answer those questions, and then hit play again after you've had a look at them, and we'll have a talk about the answers. Alright, so question 1. If the law isn't the enemy, then what is? Well, we actually found that in the first sentence of what we read today, didn't we? Paul writes, he's talking about the law, which he's just finished the last section by saying the law is holy. He then starts this section off by saying, did that which is good then bring death to me? That is it the law which brings death, which is the problem? He says, by no means it was sin. Right, we want to remember that it's not God's law that actually is the problem for us, it's the fact that we can't keep it, that we're broken inside and that sin just has us in its slavery, keeping us away from a relationship with God. The enemy in our lives is sin. Now, what's this tension that Paul goes on to discuss? Well, the tension that he feels is that on the one hand, he knows that he's been set free from slavery to sin. That's what the last few chapters have been about. And yet he feels this tension because the good that he wants to do, he finds himself not doing, and instead the sin which he knows he shouldn't be doing, that's what he does. And he feels this tension in him, that on the one hand he's been set free from sin, and yet in some ways he still feels enslaved to it. Now, part of that, we looked in past days at our union with Jesus, the fact that we were united with Christ in His death, and in doing that we put to death sin in us, and that we're also raised to new life with Him. And why we feel a tension there is that on the one hand, spiritually, those things are true. We have died with Jesus in His death and put to death our sinful nature, and spiritually we've been raised to new life. And yet at the same time, we haven't seen that completely worked out, have we? We haven't actually died yet and actually been raised to new life yet. And so on the one hand, spiritually, we've been set free from this slavery to sin and are free to follow Jesus, but at the same time there's a level on which our physical selves are still trapped by sin. And so there's this war going on within us. And sometimes the Spirit working in us wins, and we glorify God for those times when we can live for Him. And there's other times when our physical selves, our fleshly sinful selves, still win out. Ultimately in that, whilst we want to keep pursuing our union with Jesus, while we want to keep trying our best to put sin to death in our lives, ultimately what that should do is help us look forward to the day when Jesus returns and our union with Him is complete, and that tension, that battle inside us is finally won by Jesus. The final question is one for you to think about for yourself. In what ways do you feel that tension? What are the sins which you struggle to defeat in your life? What are the ways in which you're united with Jesus, but at the same time, not yet? It's not quite fulfilled yet. And how do you respond to those tensions in your life? By trying to walk with Jesus, by trying to be united with him in as many ways as possible, and by looking forward to that day when he makes you completely new again. Think about the way you feel that tension in your life. Talk to Jesus about it. Pray about these things, and we'll see you again next time.